So I'll do a story, right? Which is from my other teacher, Fukuoka Sensei, right? So first, Fukuoka Sensei found a way to grow rice without transplanting it. Okay. A very simple way of doing it. But in all the history of mankind, rice has been, lowland rice has been a fundamental grain for the majority of the population of humankind from the beginning of agriculture. Right? And they always transplanted. That's very interesting. And so, the story is one day he was passing a abandoned rice field and the rice was growing. He said, wait a minute. It took him 20 years to figure out his method, although the method itself was very simple. Okay, so he found a way, he found a way to grow rice without transplanting. Okay, and he also found, this is corollary to this, so it's very important, that you don't have to actually soften the ground. You soften the ground by having the rice grow through a cover crop, usually clover. So the clover is covering the ground so it doesn't get hot from the sun, and the roots of the clover soften the ground. But you don't have to humanly do it. So you don't have to. So you have this rice plant, which is not transplanted, so it's strong, right? The ground hasn't been softened for it. So it uses its own power to put its roots down. What does that make? A powerful rice plant. What does that mean? It means in Fukuoka Sensei's rice field, you could find every kind of rice disease. Right? I guess they're all viruses, maybe fungus too, right? That exists, but didn't affect the harvest. It just took out the weak plants. Because those strong plants could resist it. Therefore, those diseases actually helped because they got rid of the plants that were dying anyways, and there was that much more life for the other plants. Speaking about killing green and living green. And so you get a shorter plant, you get a different, like in a rice plant, it's like one leaf is particularly big and takes more of the sun than the others. A different leaf than the transplanted ones. And you had a very strong plant, and you had a really heavy, powerful head of rice, but it didn't bend over because it had, the stalk was strong. You look at green revolution rice, it's like, No chemicals, no investment in chemicals or agricultural technology, except a simple understanding of how nature works. Okay, so because this is what Aikido is about, how nature works, right? So what was the simple understanding of nature? Foucault said, well, in nature, the seeds scatter on their own, right? And most of them get eaten, or get diseased, right? So say, you have, all these seeds, but of those seeds, only one or two might survive, but hundreds or even thousands, right? But that's enough to keep the cycle going, he said. Okay, so let's make every seed survive, right? So then he took an idea from the dung beetle. Right? So we could tell a whole story of the dung beetle. It's very interesting, it's African. But anyway, so what does he do? He coats each seed with clay, with clay powder and fine water, so you get a little ball. It hardens then. So you have the seed in a little ball of hardened clay. So you throw them out. You don't even have to, do anything. You just throw them out. Nothing can attack them. Nothing can eat them until there's enough rain to melt the clay. And then the seed sprouts. Well, very soon. It took him 20 years to figure that out from the moment he saw that field. But notice how simple it is. Just like real science. It's elegant, it's simple. But it's living, it's not killing. It's not power. Right? It's not this Western idea, we use science and use our minds to develop, forms of increasing our power. It's saying, hey, nature. Now this is one of O-Sensei's teachings. And it's one of the purposes of doing Aikido. To learn and and to manifest what's doing it all anyways. And that's a good example. So this is now the importance of Aikido is like Fukuoka Sensei came, well, it's quite interesting. He wasn't from a farming family. His family were the chief of a farming village for 300 years, which is like they were almost samurai. They were like the ones who had responsibility for like 300 households for hundreds of years. Right, everything was done through them. They were the magistrate and then this and then that. You know. So he already had this feeling of responsibility towards the farmers, and so he carried out his responsibility. Right, very interesting. Well, of course, we don't do that because we're too busy trying to make it for ourselves. Right.